How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're well. In today's video, I'm going to be really transparent with you and talk about how much it is for me to run an RS3 at the age I am. There's a few people who do follow me that have messaged me saying they own an S3 and they want to make the step up to an RS3 and don't know how much more it's going to be. So hopefully this video will give you a good understanding on how much it's going to be.
B&B on the track.
To give you a quick backstory on where I've been, I know it's been like 3 weeks since I've made a video. I'm this close to paying off the car now. I owe like 2 weeks worth of wages, 3 weeks worth of wages, and the car is completely paid off. I mainly enjoy making videos where I'm fitting parts and installing parts. And for that reason, I've not been buying any parts for the car, hence why I've not been uploading any videos. I've been trying to save as much money as possible. But unfortunately, if you saw my community post, I went over a screw the other day, and then Friday, I ended up paying like 350 quid on tyres. So I thought, screw it, bought some parts for the car, so you can expect some more videos soon. So I thought, seeing I've been spending so much money, it would be a perfect opportunity to explain how much I actually do spend on the car. Not talking about modifications though, this is strictly service prices, things like carbon cleaning, injectors, brakes, brake pads, spark plugs, Audi prices for services, because that's where I go. And I've also tallied up how much on average a year I spend to maintain the car and keep it on the road, including insurance. I'm going to be really transparent on how much I pay on insurance and road tax, and also how much I've spent up to now. I've owned the car for 9 months. It's been an expensive 9 months because there's been a few things I've had to get right. So I'm going to talk about all those things and how much it's cost me. So first things first, how much does an RS3 actually cost to buy? An RS3 8P, that is. So the year of an RS3 you're going to buy is either going to be 2011 or 2012. I think they dabbled into the 2013. You might get 63 plates, I think. I could be wrong. Correct me on that. Anyway, the cheapest I have seen, I'm sure the people who've owned them for longer and been in the market longer than I have seen them cheaper. The cheapest I have seen on Auto Trader is £15,000 for an RS3 8P. Obviously, depending on how many miles, the category, condition, etc., modifications and spec list, it's going to vary quite a lot. So I've seen from £15,000, I've seen them all the way up to 30k. Obviously, when the car came out in 2011, I believe they were like £50,000. Obviously, you're going to pay a bit more if you wanted a higher spec. But second-hand, 15k to 30k. 30k being absolute garage queen, under 10, 15,000 miles, or just really, really highly modified and a lot of money's been chucked into it. So once you bought your car, the first thing you need to do is insure and tax it. For me, I bought the car 3 months after my 20th birthday. For me, at the time, funnily actually, that reminds me, it was really weird. I owned a 320d BMW before that, which is obviously a completely different car to the RS3 I've got sat outside the house. When I insured my RS3, I just swapped it over to my current policy with Admiral, that's who I'm still with now. They had to refund me £65 to have my RS3 instead of my BMW, which was really, really weird. They actually had to give me money. They owed me money for having a high performance car compared to an economical 2-litre diesel. Weird. But anyway, then June the 18th came round, which is my renewal date, and I paid 700 and something pounds, but then including modifications that I've got on the car, I've declared everything that's on it currently. That has brought it up to £780 a year at 21 years old. I'm now 22, but when I insured it, I was 21, and it cost me 780 quid, including all modifications. That's fully comprehensive insured. That's obviously really, really cheap considering my age. I know for a fact a lot of my friends have quoted some, and they're in the thousands, way in thousands. Things that are going to alter your insurance premium massively, for me at my age anyway, is name drivers. I've got both my mum and dad on my insurance policy. My dad's in the emergency services, so it does reduce it a good amount, to be fair, so I'm quite lucky in that sense. Your location is a big, big factor of that. I live in Cornwall on a really, really quiet estate, so it's really nice. One thing to mention, this is my daily. I drive it every single day to work, so I am in that bracket where I drive it in peak hours from 4 to 5 days a week, which will actually put it up. One other thing to add, my no claims bonus. I've got 3 years no claims bonus. Unfortunately, I had an accident in my first car when I was 18, and I've got 4 years driving, so that does reduce it a good amount as well. So guys, the last final important factor that reduces my insurance premium is my occupation. I'm now into the management side of my role in the construction industry, so luckily for me, that reduces it a lot too. So yeah, 780 quid a year is my insurance. The next thing you have to do when you buy your car is tax it. The RS3 8P, due to its year, the band it's in for emissions, is £340 a year. I pay it yearly. I think it works out, if you want to do it every 6 months, it adds up to being like 370 quid a year, which is a decent amount of money, to be fair, but it's nothing compared to like a £700-800 a year tax bracket for like a V8. But 340 quid is quite a lot of money for tax, but it's not too bad at the same time. It's actually the exact same amount I paid for my Mark II Focus ST because it had the same type of engine. So now moving on to fuel. For me, as I said, because it's my daily driver, I put in a lot of fuel a week. Definitely, I'm a sensible driver when I want to be, but obviously I'm putting my foot down quite a lot, I'm not going to lie to you. I have a lot of fun in my car, and because I drive it every day, it drinks a lot of fuel. The car is currently running stock power, so I'm lucky in that sense. I'm sure once it's tuned, it's going to guzzle a lot more. But weekly, on average, I put between £40 and £80 a week. It's worth noting, my place of work is only 10 minutes away. So by the time I actually arrive, the car's only just warmed up, or not even probably warmed up yet. Yeah, £40 to £80 a week. That's obviously, I go to the gym most evenings as well, which is also in my local town. So it's not like I've got to go too far. So I'm not doing very far miles, but I just drive the car quite a lot. So on average, what I've worked out, let's say across the year, I put in on average £65 a week. That is £3,380 a year on fuel, which is a lot of fuel. Obviously, when I can, I'll always put V-Power in unless it's gone, which is the case most days nowadays with this whole E10 crap and people go mental for fuel. But yeah, 3,380 quid a year on fuel, which is a lot of money on fuel. The only plus side is because I'm self-employed, every April I get to do a tax return, and I get to put on, I get to tally up basically and add up how many miles I do a year for work, and I get that refunded back to me as part of my tax return. But overall, fuel, I'm sure for like most people, fuel is going to be my most expensive factor for me maintaining my car. I'm not fortunate enough yet to have a second vehicle. Hopefully in January, it's pushing into February now, is when I'll be getting my motorbike, because then I'll be riding the bike to commute to work and the car can stay at home. So next on my list is some general maintenance parts, for example, tyres and brakes, etc. Conveniently, obviously I've just run over a screw. So on the topic of tyres, I pay £170 each on a tyre. That's for Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. Personally, I won't put another tyre on there. That's what I prefer most. Great tyre. They're so good in the wet and the dry. I'll put some prices up on the screen now. Fortunately, I've just put mine on and it looks like the prices have gone up already. They're nearly £200 a tyre now. Tyre prices usually fluctuate depending on the stock they have in the garage. So if they've got shitloads of the tyres, they're conveniently cheaper. Whereas if they've got fewer, the prices are more. So it's all relevant basically. So a full set of tyres has nearly brought me up to £700. I've got £700 worth of rubber on the car at the moment, but you definitely need it. So moving on, brakes. I'll put again some prices on the screen so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. So most people go for the Rayland 2-piece brakes, whether they're floating or bolted, and they vary from 500 to 700 quid depending on what type of groove you want on the disc itself. And obviously you can go up to big brake kits. This is just talk about front brakes, by the way, guys, just to give you an idea of how much they can be for this car. So ideally you're looking at £600 to £2,000 for a set of front brakes. Yes, the big brake kits do include pads and calipers as well, so obviously you're paying a bit more for the extra components required for the brake system. But personally, I'll probably go for the Rayland or AP brake disc when the time comes. So next, moving on to some brake pads. They vary from £150 to £300 for the front brakes, brake pads, sorry. And I think similar for the rears, you're looking at 150 quid to probably still £300 to be honest with you, depending on spec, type, etc. The next thing on my list is servicing for the car. If you look through one of my previous videos, you'll see I went to Audi, my local Audi dealership, who carried out the long life service on my car. So oil change, visual inspection, oil filter. What else did I have done? I think I had my Haldex serviced, which I think is about 150 quid. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the prices I was quoted, this is including the gearbox service, which I believe gets done every 37,000 miles. It was £444 for the long life service, including gearbox service. Set of 5 spark plugs for the car is £200 for some NGK race plugs, which is what they recommend. I believe they're slightly cheaper now online if you do find them in the right place. Just be careful you don't buy injectors or spark plugs from eBay, because sometimes they can make very good replica fakes and they will mess up your car. So yeah, £444, so £644 for plugs and a gearbox service and long life service at Audi, which is an expensive service, but it was all done in front of me, and Audi are really good. Also, I've got full service history with the Audi dealership on that car, so I'm going to try and keep that up. It'd be a shame now to ruin it. So unfortunately for me, I'm going to have to go the expensive route every time. But hey ho. So guys, some of the last things on my list now, this is where I've tallied up an average year for me. So I've written make a total cost and how much I pay per year to keep it on the road in good condition. This is not including any modifications. So an average year for me is £5,350. That's allowing £600 for emergency emergency spends for tyres, for example, like what I've just explained. I've gone over a tyre, gone over a screw, sorry. So I've had to change the tyre. There's also a couple little bits that I need to change. For example, if you've seen one of my previous videos, I've got a DRL that's died. So I'm gonna have to replace that headlight, which is like 270 quid. So basically I've allowed £600 in this year, just in case I need it, because you know things break sometimes. You do need to cough up a bit of money to fix it. So yeah, 5,350 quid a year approximately is what I pay to keep my car on the road. So that's including all my fuel, MOTs, servicing, insurance, tax, and all of that stuff basically. And then finally, up till now, I've worked out, in the last 9 months of me owning the car, I've worked out how much I've actually spent. Again, not including any aftermarket parts. This is simply tax, insurance, maintenance, the injector clean, which is what I've added for this year. Obviously, that's not something you're going to get done yearly. What else won't you need to do yearly? You won't need to get the carbon clean done yearly. Obviously, the injectors get refurbed once, unless they've been done already. So yeah, up till now, in the 9 months, I've spent £5,980 to keep the car on the road. Again, that's also including fuel. It's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but I'm sure next year it will be a lot cheaper because there'll be a lot of things I won't need to do because I've done them now. So yeah, I hope, guys, that gives you a really good understanding as to how much it does cost to keep an RS3 8P on the road for someone who drives it every single day. It'll be really interesting to hear from some of the other people that are older than me, see how much your insurance is, if you're willing to share. And how much it is for you to maintain your car. So make sure you drop a comment down below. Let me know how much you think it is for you to keep the car on the road. How much is your insurance? Is it a lot cheaper than me? Obviously, I was 21 when I insured it. I'm hoping, now that I'm 22, when I next insure it, it'll be a little bit cheaper maybe. In fact, I think I quoted it, once I've got a motorbike on the road, my car won't be driven in peak times, and it reduces it to like £650 a year, which is really, really good. Yeah, hope you did enjoy the video, guys. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said, we've got lots of new parts coming soon. I've got exterior modifications, some interior modifications, and I've also got a nice mod that's going to make the car a little bit louder. Maybe add a bit of performance, I'm not too sure yet. So if you're keen to see that, because I will be installing it all and videoing the whole lot, subscribe and stay tuned. I'll see you soon. Peace.